Hello, everyone, and welcome to another mind-bending what if scenario. Today, we'll explore a question that sounds simple, but could change everything we know about our planet. What if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning for just 5 seconds? At first, 5 seconds may not sound like much. It's less time than it takes to send a text message. But the Earth is an enormous sphere spinning at about 1,670 kilometers per hour. That's over 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. This rotation is what keeps our world stable, balancing the oceans, the air, and even our daily lives. Now imagine this. The planet itself suddenly hits pause, but the atmosphere, the oceans, and everything on the surface keeps moving at that incredible speed. For 5 seconds, Earth would become the most dangerous place in the universe. So, what would really happen in those 5 seconds if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Let's imagine it step by step. First, the ground beneath your feet would freeze in place, but you, along with cars, buildings, trees, and even the oceans, would still be moving at the original speed of rotation. At the equator, that's about 1,670 kilometers per hour, which is faster than the speed of sound. For comparison, it's like being suddenly thrown out of a car going over 1,000 miles per hour. The result? Everything not firmly anchored into the crust would be launched eastward at supersonic speed. Skyscrapers would collapse as their upper sections kept moving while their bases were held still. Roads would tear apart. Bridges would snap like twigs. Now the oceans. Water doesn't break just because the earth does. The seas would surge across continents in massive, unimaginably powerful tsunamis. Entire coastlines would be swallowed in seconds. Rivers would spill out of their banks, racing eastward, carving new paths across the land. And the air, our atmosphere, would keep rushing forward too. Winds would instantly roar at thousands of kilometers per hour, more destructive than the deadliest hurricanes combined. Cities would be flattened not only by collapsing buildings and flooding oceans, but also by walls of air tearing through them. Even after just 5 seconds, when the Earth resumed spinning, the damage would already be beyond repair. Billions of tons of debris would be in motion, and the planet's surface would look completely transformed. When Earth suddenly halts, the disaster wouldn't be limited to the surface. The very structure of the planet would be shaken. The crust, which floats over a molten mantle, would crack in countless places. Tectonic plates would jolt violently, releasing energy far stronger than any earthquake in recorded history. Entire mountain ranges could shift in moments, valleys could collapse, and volcanoes might erupt from the sudden stress. Continents wouldn't stay safe either. The immense inertia would push them eastward, scraping against the mantle beneath. Imagine continents themselves trying to slide at thousands of kilometers per hour. The friction would unleash unimaginable heat, melting rock, igniting massive wildfires, and covering the skies in ash. Meanwhile, Earth's core and mantle, still rotating beneath the stopped crust, would create a destructive shear effect, like two giant gears grinding against each other. This could destabilize Earth's magnetic field, the invisible shield that protects us from deadly solar radiation. Without it, even if humanity survived the initial chaos, our long-term future would be in jeopardy. And don't forget gravity. Normally, Earth's spin causes a slight bulging at the equator. If the planet stopped, that bulge would collapse, pulling oceans and land masses toward the poles. In just minutes, coastlines as we know them would vanish, replaced by new, unstable seas in places you'd never expect. In short, Earth would no longer be the same planet. Even a few seconds of stillness would scar it permanently, leaving behind a world unrecognizable from the one we know today. So, what about the cities, those centers of human civilization where billions of us live? If Earth stopped spinning, cities would be the first to crumble. Skyscrapers, built to sway gently in the wind or earthquakes, could never withstand the supersonic inertia. The top floors would rip forward while the bases stayed locked, snapping towers in half like broken pencils. Iconic skylines, New York, Tokyo, Dubai, will be reduced to rubble in seconds. Road networks, designed for stable ground, would split open like torn paper. Highways would twist, bridges would buckle, and subway systems would collapse, trapping thousands below. Airports, usually flat and exposed, would be struck by walls of wind stronger than any jet engine. Planes, hangars, and control towers would be hurled miles away. Ports in coastal cities, London, Shanghai, Los Angeles, would vanish beneath tsunamis taller than their tallest buildings. Even inland cities wouldn't escape. The unstoppable air currents would rip roofs off houses, shatter windows, and sweep cars, buses, and trains into the sky like toys. Firestorms would spread as ruptured gas lines and power plants ignited, painting the horizon with walls of flame. In just 5 seconds, human civilization as we know it would collapse. Cities we've spent centuries building would turn into ruins, and survivors, if any, would find themselves in a world without infrastructure, without power, and without the protection of familiar landscapes. So, could anyone survive if Earth stopped spinning for 5 seconds? The answer is highly unlikely. Almost everything we depend on, our cities, our food supply, our technology, and even our climate, would be destroyed instantly. The combination of supersonic winds, mega tsunamis, global earthquakes, and collapsing infrastructure would leave nowhere safe to hide. Even deep underground bunkers wouldn't guarantee survival. They might protect you from the first shock, but the aftermath, poisoned air, darkness from dust clouds, loss of the magnetic field, and oceans in the wrong places, would make Earth nearly uninhabitable. The planet itself would still be there, of course. It wouldn't explode or vanish, but it would be scarred, reshaped, and stripped of the delicate balance that allows life to flourish. In many ways, Earth would become a completely different world, alien to the one we call home. So the next time you feel the steady ground beneath your feet, remember, it's not standing still at all. It's carrying you safely at incredible speed. And it's only because of that constant spin that life, cities, and civilization can exist.